Let's jump to the story from the Post Millennial. Hunter Biden to sue Fox News for calling him a degenerate crackhead. Heavens, why would they say such a thing? Hunter Biden is preparing to sue Fox News for defamation, alleging the network exploited his drug addiction to dehumanize him. His lawyer sent a letter to Fox News several weeks ago threatening legal action for allegedly collaborating with Trump operatives and pro-Russia nationals to defame him for profit. The letter demands retractions, corrections, and on-air apologies. Hunter Biden's attorneys told the Daily Beast they plan to file a lawsuit shortly. Hunter Biden also expressed his frustrations in an interview with the outlet, stating, "I'm not saying my addiction is an excuse for my bad behavior. What I'm saying is that my addiction is not an excuse for them to dehumanize me, and in so dehumanize everybody from the addict that you pass it on the street to the one that you live with. That is the principal motivating factor. Addict, 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 addict. You know, crack addict. He's a crack addict, smoking crack addict." In response to potential lawsuit, a spokesperson for Fox News cited the company's statement about constitutionally protected coverage regarding a public figure who has been the subject of investigations by both the DOJ and Congress and has been indicted by two different U.S. attorneys' offices in California and Delaware and has admitted to multiple incidents of wrongdoing. So in his book, he said he was a crack addict, a crack daddy, and a crackhead. You can't sue someone for that, you know.
Well, maybe he thinks because Fox pays off on frivolous lawsuits, so maybe he thinks he's got a chance, Can I say that?
But that's true. I mean, Fox is probably just going to be like, okay, what do you want? The lawyers are going to go to Fox and they're going to say, it's a ridiculous lawsuit. It's going to cost you $200,000 to go to court.
Right. And this is where we're at. That's another thing, too, that bothers me in this country with lawfare and everything else. You can be right on something, and it costs you more to say, no, I didn't defame her, I didn't do this. I'm in the middle of it. I know. Mm-hmm. It's disgusting. These suits that are
especially when you're suing like the government, right? Like if the government's coming after you, they can spend taxpayer money all day long, forever and ever. Whereas you eventually, maybe not you, but the average American will run out of money at some point.
They took my cell phone at a heart. I sued the FBI and our government. They never gave my phone back. I took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and they wouldn't accept it. So now I got to shelf that over here. They're never giving my phone back. I use all my business. I wasn't charged with a crime. Yeah. You can't just take, nowadays, my phone is everything, all my business stuff. That's crazy, And I kept fighting and spending more money. I'm going, you know what? I got other bigger fights. So everybody else, they still have my phone. I have my grandkids' pictures on there that I can't get off of. Even the judges in Minnesota, the Supreme Court, they had Ninth Circuit or Eighth Circuit, whatever it was, they go, the three judges go, well, are you going to give us phone back, or can you just do a download? No, we're going to keep this. This is the lawyer for the government, right? And they go, and then they asked, one of the judges said, well, what about client or attorney-client privilege there? And he goes, well, we're looking through it all. So that's like, okay, so you say, oh, we shouldn't have seen that. We shouldn't have seen that. Wow. It's like a jury, disregard what you just heard. It's bizarre, the weaponization that's going on, and they where you turned up when you talk about defamation, and here, you talk about my cases, the electronic machines that were used by our government, they're basically our government device, in all our elections. Mm-hmm. Why should I get sued? Just say, hey, I want to see inside them. I want some transparency here.
Yeah, Ian often says that election machines should the source code should be open source.
Yeah, they should be open. We should all be able to see. Hey, show us what's inside. I used an example once. I said, if somebody accused my pillow of having rocks and knives in it, do you think I'd go around suing you all? You just got, Mike, we used them in our pit out here and we jumped through. There's rocks and knives in them. I wouldn't sue you for saying that. I'd say, no. Look inside this beautiful patented fill. Well, I would expose and show you what's inside.
There was that guy who called your pillows lumpy.
Yeah. My lawyer, I said, what a jerk. He attacks my pillow and my employees, I think I called him a few names I probably shouldn't have said. But they leaked that out of the deposition. That's supposed to be private, right? They leaked that out. And then the judge...
they leaked it to make you look bad, but it was the best thing ever. Yeah. I thought it was so funny.
You know what the lawyer says to me? Then he goes, and this case is still going on. He goes, well, the judge is going to see this. I go, well, good for her. I got a big problem with Judge Wing out of Colorado, and I do got a big problem with her. You know what that judge did? Here's what she did. This lawsuit started in the summer of 22. So it's so frivolous. What I did is we put in for to get it dismissed, a dismissal. Well, that's like if I put a lawsuit against you, or if anybody did it, that's your first line of defense is, hey, I wasn't at that. It's not even me. It's you put in for a dismissal. Well, this Judge Wang decided, you know what? I'm not going to rule on the dismissal. You go ahead and pay for discovery and everything else and move this forward. If I didn't have the resources, if somebody off the street, if a judge did that to them and they were completely innocent and they did that and said, you go spend all this money on lawyers and all this garbage, it was wrong. So this was 9 months later when I was in that deposition, and I let that Judge Wang have it. I said, you know what? You either rule, I don't care if you rule against me, you don't change our country and, change our country and set a precedence where every judge can go, oh, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to rule on the dismissal. You go into discovery. Mm-hmm. I had it with her. You know what? I went on my show that night and I just ripped her up one side and down the other, but she ruled the next day. She ruled against me on the dismissal, but at least she made a ruling. That's all I asked of her. I just wanted the ruling. But that lawyer, that was a whole other deal. I let him
he attacked your integrity and your product.
Yeah, he attacked my pill, my company. What does this have to do with you and your crooked client,
People don't understand that, they think this country was once... We've always been in some kind of conflict. We've always been in some kind of escalating state of conflict. But in the 90s, things were pretty okay.
Right.
The Democrats and the Republicans got along on most issues and argued. And so that's kind of where people are like, that's when things were pretty good. It was the 90s. Mm-hmm. We disagreed. There was the impeachment, the scandal. But people generally got along.
That's right.
Today, we are back in this conflict state where, look, you probably know it better than I do. When it comes to lawsuits, one of the first things the lawyer asks is, where do you want to file? If you file in a blue area, you lose. If you file in a red area, you win.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Mine was supposed to be filed, they're both blue areas, but in Minnesota, and they moved it all to D.C. They moved all my case to D.C. One of them, I sued the other one first. I sued them, and I'm going, and they tell me, oh, your lawsuits are no good. Mine was ruled down. No, your lawsuits are no good. We're going to dismiss those. And not only that, we're going to sanction you. I had to learn these new things, sanctions, and you don't have standing. Yep. I mean, the sanction was the worst. I asked to see in my own case against a machine company, I won't even name their name. One of them, I subpoenaed machines, some in Michigan, to get the machines. It's my evidence, right? It's a couple $1 billion. I think I should get to see my evidence. The judge ruled, no, you can't see them. And even for asking you, they sanctioned me $24,000, my lawyers, for asking. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, huh?
In D.C.?
No, this was in Michigan where I asked for the machines. And that judge there sanctioned me.
Yep.
And then they go, and then the media use this. Well, it was a Trump-appointed judge, Mike. Who cares who appointed the judge? My best judge is down in Georgia, where an Obama-appointed judge. Actually, it was 3.5 years, this case against crooked Brad Rasmussen down there, the Secretary of State, and the curling case. Finally, last fall, she made a ruling, said, hey, the experts have looked inside these machines, and she said, we're going to bring this to court, or bring it to trial. And she said, and if you question the machines, you're not a conspiracy theorist. I was so happy I got to take off my tinfoil hat on national TV. Jimmy Kimmel he aired it where hey, just because I want to talk about it doesn't mean I'm a conspiracy theory. So then it goes to her court in January in Georgia. A guy, Halderman, the expert, with a ballpoint pen hacked in to the machine in front of her and changed the election in 5 minutes.
Wow.
And so now she's in a tough position because she's still deliberating. What do we do now in Georgia to get rid of these machines that were proved right there? There's problems. There's problems. We're not turning over an election, proving that. You're just proving you can't use these devices. That's all it is. Yeah. And she's got to make a decision. My guess is, well, let's just wait till after 2024. In Georgia, this is the third election in a row that waited with those machines for a ruling on that case, where crooked Brad Rasmussen, the Secretary of State, a Republican, the biggest uniparty blocker in history, keeps blocking down there and blocking and blocking. And one of the things you said, I really believe when you say our country, when you talk about this division, this arguments, I believe what's going on now is uniting the people. I think that I really do. I think it's uniting the people where we're going to get to a common place going, hey, we want to have the American dream here. We want to live our freedoms. We want to have, it doesn't matter what party you're in, where you have the parties, the media will put this together that there's arguments here. And you even said it best, you get less arguments now a year later or 2 years later at the dinner table where you have this divide, it's the bad things going are actually uniting.
Well, and I think this is true of judicial systems in the U.S., right? I think it's actually a very bipartisan feeling to think that you're going to go to court, and if the judge decides they will rule against you, they could potentially make it extremely difficult for you, that the fees of fighting a lawsuit that maybe you really need to are so overwhelming that you could basically risk everything. I mean, it's something that people of all political persuasions fear, and we're seeing it play out over and over
in
all kinds of cases, businesses, political, personal. I mean, it is something that I think the media thought, we'll scare people into believing that this is the way forward. But actually what ended up happening is people are looking around going, this system is going to break me, and I cannot keep up with it.
You're exactly right. And I think for where God has put me on this platform out there where, I spent most of my time in the inner cities of Minneapolis back in the day. And they, like I say, I never voted. And so out there, when they see, when I see people all over the country now, it's like they don't come out to me, oh, you're a Donald Trump supporter. No, they know that I'm out there. I didn't change. I didn't change from where I was. All of a sudden, I was the CEO of My Pillow. I had an addiction network out there that's free. I was put into this election platforms that I want to secure because it all comes from there. If you don't have fair elections, everything stems from, now you could say the stolen election. I'm talking all elections. I went around the world. I went to France, or I talked to France, Germany, UK, the Netherlands, all these places that have secure elections because they use paper ballots, hand counted. Is it so bad that I voice my opinion? That's what I want. That's what we need. And I can prove it. I can prove that those are the best systems. All it took is one judge in Argentina last summer to say, you know what? We're going to go to paper ballots, hand counted. They switched over in 4 months faster than the Netherlands did, and they had their first fair and fair election they've had in years. Taiwan did it, Ecuador did it, and these are things that I believe the public needs to see here because we have the worst election platform in the world. We're worse than any other country.
Do you think that concerns about election security or election integrity are going to deter people from voting this year?
No,
do you think we'll have low or high voter turnout?
I think it's going to be the highest in history because it's flipped on that too. People, I told this to Donald Trump too. I said, people are, you always say, hey, well, let's get everybody get out and vote. Now you're seeing, like, I'm from Minnesota. It hasn't been red since 1972, okay? We're the longest in the country. And there, it's like, everybody's engaged to vote because they believe that the system, that the elections are rigged and that the elections, whether it be the machines, the early voting, the drop boxes, whatever you want to call it. And they believe that, hey, we've got one shot and we've got to completely override this and then we can fix the platform. I'm out there fixing as much as I have. We have over 250 counties that are now going to go to paper ballots, hand counted. You can check that out at lindellplan.com. I've been working, I have over 300,000 people in all 50 states. And we work from the county up. Most counties can vote them out themselves and just go to paper. I mean, it's so simple. And but these people that, they feel alone, a lot of them are scared because they've weaponized against them too. And I will say and they go, well, who's behind this, Mike? All I see, and my biggest blockers are these uniparty Republicans. And I'll give you a really good example in Arkansas. This is a red state, and you've got Cleburne County. They voted in their own county to go to paper ballots. And all these other counties were going to follow suit. This is a little over a year ago. Well, this guy named Kim Hammers, he's a Republican, went to the Senate and shoved a bill through. Here's the bill, how it reads. If you go to paper ballots in Arkansas, we're defunding your county. So right there, it's like racketeering going, hey, you either go, and what do you think Cleburne County did? They go, oh, we're sorry, we even thought about it. We're going to go back to the machines,
Right, because whoever has the money is ultimately making decisions. That's what I find really interesting about all of this, which is that, today's voters, especially young voters, if you're being told constantly your vote doesn't matter because you're already in a state that's going to definitely go to whatever candidate or, anything could happen with the ballots or whatever it is, like it actually, my concern would be that it would deter people from participating in the system.
Normally it would. I'm from Minnesota. I know, like, what good is it? It's blue. It's always going to be blue. But here's another thing that's driving that I believe this will be the biggest turnout in history for the whole country ever because of what's going on right now, the destruction of our economy. The things you listed up there, the number one was the economy, the border, the election platforms, those three things. Well, you're still going to go vote because people know that everything comes from our election platforms. You know, we got to use what we got. However broken it is, we've got to use what we got. And then people say to me,
No, finish.
But people say to me, they go, because there's a big argument, oh, you go out there and be like the Democrats and vote early. And I'm going, rubbish. You know, that's me. I'll say it straight out. You vote same day. I know from everything I do, you vote same day. You get out to vote. Of course, if you can't vote early, but I tell people, take those mail-in votes. They drop like Michigan, 7 million over the state. Go, everybody just have at it. Take your vote, your ballot that you got sent. Don't vote early and go in their election day. And if they say, oh, you already voted, say, no, I haven't. It's right here.
Wow.
Yeah,
and that is going to be a great plan. And it is at least 10 times harder for them to cheat on election day. And that's coming from me. I've spent more money and know more about that than these people out there that are saying that. And I believe we're going to have the biggest vote ever.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.